Welcome to another episode of Time, Talent, Treasure Radio from Stewards Planning Group. Stewards Planning Group is a company that specializes in helping you build purposeful retirement plans, custom plans that not only help clients steward their treasure, but also their time and talent as well. They believe if you're taken care of financially, you can go even further to make the family, community, and kingdom impact you truly desire to make, which is the ultimate purpose of wealth. If you'd like to set up a no-cost, no-obligation meeting with one of their financial advisors, please give them a call at 222-4236. You can request a meeting at stewardsplanning.com, or you can simply stop by their office on 19th Avenue Southwest in Wilmer.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Time, Talent, Treasure Radio. I'm your host, Ben Taatjes, and this week again, joined by Kendra Peterson. Kendra, how are you today?
I am great, Ben. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm glad you're on. I know last week we talked a little bit about 529 plans and how kids can now use them if they want to, not only for college, but for a Roth IRA, subject to certain limitations. So I'd tell our listeners certainly go back, listen to that show, or talk to your advisor about that, making how flexible they are. I know for my daughters, both of them are going to college, but I know you've got a couple young ones, and you don't know yet where they're going to be someday, and it's nice having that flexibility, isn't it?
Yeah, certainly the flexibility is nice because, again, I have a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old, so I'm not sure what their plans are here because we got a long ways to go here, but certainly nice to have some flexibility. And as well, going back to planning that I've seen with clients, this has helped even with, this has helped even when we talk about the Stewards Plan with clients, that 3-step process. Just to kind of remind the listeners what that 3-step process is. Step 1, what am I stewarding? Step 2, what do I need to live on now in the future? And step 3, what do I do with the rest? So again, in kind of looking at that last question, when we see that clients might not be utilizing all of the assets that they have, this 529 has been a great option because, again, they might feel for their children or grandchildren, they're not sure if they'll go to college. So to have a little bit more flexibility, still be able to do something for their grandkids, even if they're not sure what their future will hold. Yeah, and I think that was oftentimes the kind of the reason most people would be concerned about putting money into these plans is what happens if, my granddaughter don't go to college. And now that's been answered with this, ability to move it over to a Roth IRA. And it's really important that you start this planning young because it has to be in their 15 years in order to do that and to make that option possible. So anybody listening that wants to get that started for a grandchild, let us know. Give our office a call, and we'd love to help you with that. Today we're gonna turn it just a little bit. We're going to continue to talk about assets that have goals and how important it is that everything that we're stewarding has a goal. In that case, certainly the goal was college or potentially for a Roth IRA. But you've said to me many times, I just think more and more of our clients, when I get in front of them, their eyes are opened a little bit just to how many things they have out there, and they love seeing that nice organized balance sheet that comes from the first step. Maybe tell me about a recent interaction or something that you've been learning from dealing with clients. Yeah, again, quite a few different scenarios kind of highlight today. Just met with a client a couple weeks ago, and again, this was the first time they'd ever really gone through a full balance sheet or a net worth statement for them. And honestly, one of the clients, she kind of got emotional just seeing everything in one place and realizing, how large their net worth had become. But also once you see what you have, what is the goal for all of these different assets that you have? Because again, so many of our prospects and clients come in, so many prospects and clients are coming in, and as a part of this process, just finding too that they have a lot of cash kind of in all sorts of different places. And when you put it all on one page, they realize that it's a lot more than what they initially thought. And again, there might not be a goal for that. So kind of talking through what is the goal for these funds, and then and then finding a better purpose for those funds. Again, whether it be for themselves for right now, or maybe it is for some of their kids, grandkids.
No, I think that's a really key thing is that for all of those assets, there needs to be a goal. And what you said, I think I've had that many times in my career where you get that shock with a client when they see when they put it all together and they see all their assets in one place. they're almost surprised with just how much that they've been able to earn and save and keep over the years. And then at some point in the meeting, it's almost this emotional thing like, man, we've been so blessed. Are we stewarding it well enough? Are we preparing even our children someday to receive these assets? And I think that's probably one of the most favorite parts of my job is asking those questions that drive to better conversations with spouses. Even we've talked about that on past shows, but are your kids ready for these dollars someday? But what are you doing today to prepare your children to be good stewards down the road? And then helping them. I think educating both the client and their children so they know, hey, how are we going to best steward those down the road? Yeah, so I love that, and I love this 3-step process that we're using. It sounds simple to a lot of people, right? It's like, well, what am I stewarding? Get a summary so you know where everything is at. That's going to be so valuable someday should something happen to you for your heirs to know where everything's at. And then the second step, what do you need now and in the future to live on, which is so important to really begin planning of, where are my income sources today? What am I spending the money on today? And then look forward to retirement if you're not in that stage yet, and what will it look like then? And then, like you highlighted, that last step of what do I do with what's left over? So many of our clients, like you're finding, have enough not only for themselves, but if they continue to live the way they're living, they're going to have a bunch left over. And what do they do with that and when? And I think the when piece is really important, that we focus now on getting those assets down to the next generation, if that's where they're going to go eventually, whether it be 529 plans, other gifting mechanisms that we can use. I think that's a really important next step for all of our clients to be thinking about. So I appreciate you coming on, Kendra, and always, with your planning, sticking with, here's those 3 questions. Here's the best way for, you to come alongside, us to come alongside our clients to help them steward the assets to the best of their abilities. And I think whether it be a 529 or a steward's plan, as we've been talking about, those are all tools to help people steward well. So from all of us at Stewards Planning Group, Kendra, myself, and the rest of the team, until next week, steward well.
Ben Taatjes is a financial advisor at Stewards Planning Group. Securities offered through Cetera Wealth Services, LLC. Member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Cetera Investment Advisors, LLC. A registered investment advisor. Cetera is under separate ownership from any other named entity. 1104 19th Avenue Southwest, Wilmer, Minnesota 56201. The views depicted in this material are for information purposes only and are not necessarily those of Cetera Wealth Services, LLC. They should not be considered specific advice or recommendations for any individual. Neither Cetera Wealth Services, LLC, nor any of its representatives may give legal or tax advice. Ben Taatjes, Jonathan Schaffner, Kendra Peterson, and Claire Bolden are financial advisors at Stewards Planning Group. Securities offered through Cetera Wealth Services, LLC. Member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Cetera Investment Advisors, LLC. A registered investment advisor. Cetera is under separate ownership from any other named entity. 1104 19th Avenue Southwest, Wilmer, Minnesota 56201. The views depicted in this material are for information purposes only and are not necessarily those of Cetera Wealth Services, LLC. They should not be considered specific advice or recommendations for any individual. Neither Cetera Wealth Services, LLC, nor any of its representatives may give legal or tax advice.